So if you had a seen me and you as the same, or you had a seen your brother in George Floyd, for example, if you were the police officer, Officer Derek, right? If Officer Derek had a seen himself in George Floyd or his brother in George Floyd, there's no way in the world he would have put his foot on his brother's neck. And that's the point I'm making, is that we come from the same source and we migrated to different parts of the world over time, over centuries, and we became all these different variations, but we all originated from the same place. We didn't all fall from the sky at different times in history and just become who we are. We came from the same place and immigrated to different areas. So when you see that we're all in some way related, you know, I mean, it might not be convenient to think of it this way, that way, but that's how it is. And when you see it like that, you don't see that we are different. You see that we have differences, but we come from the same source. So we're really all one. I almost want to say akin, but it sounds kind of nasty because we don't want to screw our family. But I mean, it's kind of like that. So you are far removed from these other elements of your family or what have you, and so that's why you can come together and go there. But you don't want to say we're all different and we're trying to express ourselves in this world of difference. You're over there and I'm over here. No, we're all from the same source, but we are expressing that source differently. So the differences we have are important to who we are, our character, and our well being. Because your identity, your character, is based on your culture and how you respond to life, all these different elements of your character, these attributes you carry around and work with. And so does everyone else. But if I see myself there, or I see that we're brothers, or I see we're sisters, or what have you, or I see that we're all black, first of all, then I don't have this stigma about who you are or what you're capable of. Because if you think we're different, then you're going to say, well, you're only capable of so much because a stereotype you learned taught you something about people that you haven't encountered. It's just like saying, I can make up a story and say there are purple people on an island. And if you go to that island, everyone is purple. There are purple people. I'm going to just tell you that. There are actual people who are purple. So you can go to this island and meet some of them. But if the island doesn't exist, for example, it might actually exist. But if the island does not exist, then I'm making up a story about who these people are. So if you ever encounter one of these people, you're going to go by the story. You see what I'm saying? You're not going to go by the truth, which is they're nice, kind, loving, gentle people, in addition to all the complexities that you have. They just were on a different side of the world and you just happen to encounter them at this time. But, if you have the story about who they are and you never met them, never interacted with them, when you do interact with them, all you can go by is the story. If you are a Christian, then the Lord is before your every thought. So when you meet this person, before you even encounter them all the way, the Lord is giving you some understanding of what you're coming up against or around or for or by or whatever you want to call it. When you walk up to somebody that you don't even know as a Christian, all the feelings and the different sensations you might feel or the thoughts that you have, all of this is ordered by the Lord. So if you simply do it all in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, whatever the encounter is, it will be correct and the encounter will be appropriate. And as long as you stay under the grace of the Lord and do everything in the Lord's name, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, then you will be able to see the end of the matter correctly. And that's what people need to do instead of tearing up. They need to pray together and figure out what's the next step on human reality, because the 20-year truth is that we have taught the people, beginning even before I was born, that certain people in the society are better than others. And the reason we taught them that is because they were not, believe it or not. The reason we taught these people that they were better is because they weren't. They were not physically better, they were not mentally better, they were not spiritually better, they were not better. But we taught them they were better so that they would do better in life. You see? And at the same time we're teaching one that they're better, we're teaching the other ones that they're worse. We're putting liquor stores in their neighborhoods. There used to be gun shops and liquor stores. Now it's not, it's just liquor. The liquor store is the only thing now. You see what I'm saying? It was a total effort to decimate one group of people and a total effort to acclimate another group. You see what I'm saying? In other words, one group was going up and the other group was going down by design, on purpose. This was done on purpose. This was saying that one group was going to go up and one group was going to go down. And we're going to help you go down and we're going to help you go up for 30 years or so. So you have other people kind of watching this, and we're all, again, one, but you have these other people who are not targeted for this. And they're saying, well, what side do I choose? So it's very natural and easy for them to choose the side that's being positively emphasized. It says, okay, you go over here, things are going to be better for you, better schools, better food, better everything, because we're teaching them, we're training them that they're better. But they're not. You see what I'm saying? They're actually not better. Then over here, you're saying, okay, over here is just pure minus. Everything over here is minus. We're going to neglect, we're going to put, destructive elements here. We're also going to put drugs here. We're going to do everything we can to destroy you here. And it's all going to be within walking distance of any home. Any home within walking distance, you could go find something to tear up your mind. You can go find something to kill you. You can go find something that's wrong. So within walking distance of where you live in this neighborhood. It was by design. It was by design to teach the people to go down. Now, what happened is people clown. You know what I'm saying? Some, like me, we clown, and we took it and flipped it. Said, well, no, we're going to still have fun and enjoy life and still keep going up. So it perplexed the people who thought they were better or who were taught they were better. And then you have kids that weren't even thinking about better or worse. They're just being kids growing up. And they learned that certain people you stay away from. And because of this, they built their own stigmas and stereotypes. So it was like a 30-year effort to make sure you destabilize the next generation of these people who are actually quite strong. So you want to destabilize them collectively and say, well, the ones that are doing well are simply emulating those that we said were better. They start doing well, they start buying things, they start going places they wouldn't normally go, and they start trying to be like the people who've had money for a long time. You see what I'm saying? Some people. And then some others have enough sense to stay how they always have been and how they are. But we need more of those. We need more people that know what to do with money, are responsible, are honorable, and don't look down, don't get mad, don't cause trouble, don't trip. They just have the ability to do well, and they don't apply a stigma to the people around them that are not doing well yet. Then I want to say this about this pulling yourself up by bootstrap. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in, just pull yourself up, by your bootstrap, or pull yourself up by Oh, just stop being lazy and all of this. I don't believe in that. Because if it came down to laziness, it would be a lot more people working, a lot more people doing well. Because laziness is simple to fix. Just get up. Laziness is simple to fix. Just get up. That's all you need to do is get up. And it's not laziness, it's the skills. And it's the knowledge leading to the skills. Let me tell you something what the best book says. It says, and the people came up out of Jordan on the 10th day of the first month and encamped in Gilgal in the east border of Jericho. So what does it say there? It says that the people were very specific in how they moved. And so that's how you have to be in building up your skill. You have to be very specific in how you move. Say, okay, 1, 2, and 3. You see what it says? What does it say? And the people came up. It says the people came up, okay, out of Jordan on the 10th day of the first month and encamped in Gilgal in the east border of Jericho. Now, why didn't they go on the 9th day? They were waiting for specific conditions. They had some kind of plan, some kind of honor, some kind of process, some kind of step to what they were doing. And that is how they were able to succeed, because they had a step. I'm sure the step included prayer. I'm sure the step included information, because how could they know what day? How could they know when they were moving? And how could they know where they were going if they didn't already plan to get there? If they didn't already say, we're going to get there. You have to be able to do that. You have to be able to plan and say, we're going to get there. Don't sit here and take the stereotypes anymore. Melt them away, just like you take plastics and melt them into other things. Melt all them plastic bottles into CDs or jeans or sneakers or car parts or whatever. Melt them into something else. Take these stereotypes that you have about black people and melt them into something better. And take these stereotypes you have about white people and melt them into something better. Take the stereotypes you have about people and melt them into something better. We're not talking about skin color, we're talking about genetics. Yeah, you have black people with big old muscles and big chests and big arms and big breasts and hips and thighs and God lovely beauty and everything. Because remember, we were terribly slaved. You see what I'm saying? We were horribly slaved. We were people that built this country and didn't even get to enjoy it for the last 200 or so. We are just barely getting able to enjoy what we built up. We got about 4 kids that have done well, and we're expecting, that's the reward that we get for building this country up. We got 4 kids, you know what I'm saying, that are doing good, and the rest of them, God help us. When I'm hearing about Chicago people, so many people dying in Chicago, it just doesn't make any sense. But condemning the violence is basically saying I'm separated from it. I gotta figure out what I'm doing to cause these things to happen, because I know if I'm praying, if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, if I'm being an honorable man, and I'm touching that Bible every single day, even for every place like Chicago, then it's got to help some kind of way. It's got to have some kind of effect that's positive. It can't just, these things happen, I don't have no way to affect. And every man has to feel that way, that they have something to do with everything. Every man, you got to feel like you got something to do with everything. Don't feel like you have something to do with a couple of things. Feel like you have something to do with everything. I got something to do with everything. It's because of me the SpaceX is in the space. It's because of me. It's about me. Now, I'm about the Lord, so you know who I'm going to give it to. I'm not just going to keep it for myself. I'm going to go to the Lord Jesus Christ immediately. But I have something to do with that rocket going to space now. I have something to do with people acting right and going home and being kind. I have something to do with peaceful protests now with George Floyd instead of violence erupting. When all that was going on, it's over with now, but the idea is that you don't want to see your kid. I saw a woman, slapping the mess out of her baby, because it was like, you're out here rioting, acting a fool. What are you out here rioting, acting a fool for? I know we didn't go put you through school and all them parent-teacher conference meetings and driving back and forth and putting gas in my car and putting food on the table and making sure you got your homework and your lesson and doing everything right. I know I didn't sit here and do all this for you to go out in the street and riot like a bunch of animals that don't have no sense. And all those people out there tearing up the buildings, maybe they need to tear your house up. Maybe they need to come on your street and tear up your street and burn your house down. Just like you burn these businesses down and ransack them, they need to run in your house and ransack you. They need to run in your house and tear everything up and take everything out the cabinets and tear the TV off the wall and burn the couch and do all that and run out. Just like you did in these other places. That's what they need to do. It was a dude trying to burn the DMV down. It was a dude trying to burn the DMV down, dog. He was trying to burn down the DMV. Now, why on earth would you try to burn the DMV down? You see what I'm saying? And that's not the only one. I saw another dude light the back of somebody on fire for no reason at all. So, all of this rioting ends in stupidity. You see what I'm saying? It ends stupid, dog, because it started stupid. Because if it was really honorable, the first thing you would have said is, I'm going to treat people the way I want to be treated. We're out here fighting against people getting killed in the street just for being black, just for being tall, just for being strong looking. This person was targeted. Said he stole a $20 bill. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe he did anything like that. I believe what happened is he put the money on the counter. The other dude was scared of him at the store. And when he left out of the store, because he might have had some words with the dude. And when he left out of the store, because the other dude was giving him a hard time just for being black, and the other dude, he couldn't let it go, because he was just like, look, man, you're not going to front me just because I'm black. I'm just coming in here to buy something. I don't have time for this. And he left. And the other dude was so perturbed that he called the police. So anybody's responsible for the murder, he should be responsible. Because if it wasn't for him, those police officers wouldn't have swarmed on him like that. You see what I'm saying? But nobody talks about that. Nobody says nothing about that man. That man had another person murdered in the street for $20. When he was easily making hundreds and hundreds of dollars for being at that store. I know that store was clocking at least $150, $200 a day. At least. At the very least. So that $200, that $20 that you supposedly have lost because it was a counterfeit, that money wasn't worth nobody's life. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't worth nobody's life. But you didn't care. You didn't care because it was about you getting your little $20. And I hope that when you go to sleep at night, that you think about that. You think about that until the Lord excuses you from it. But I don't think the Lord will ever excuse you from thinking about how somebody could have ended up dying because of you. You see what I'm saying? You can't weasel your way out of this. You understand me? You're not going to weasel your way out of being responsible for a person dying from you calling the police. You didn't have to call the police for $20. You didn't have to call the police for $20. Just like that Korean didn't have to call or doesn't have to pull that gun out and kill that girl for a $2 orange juice. But you know why they did it? Because they don't care. They feel like they're so separated from these other people that they're just from another world, another planet, another dimension. So it's like you're interacting with people from other worlds, other planets that are coming in your store. But if it was somebody that looked like you and spoke your language, all of a sudden they're from the same planet. You're from Earth, I'm from Earth. We understand one another. And this is idiocy that is caused by ignorance, by misinformation, malformed knowledge that has pervaded all of societies. Every society has this malformed knowledge which basically begins as it's me, and that's it. And that's as far as they go. They say, well, me, and that's it. And the rest of the world doesn't even exist yet. So we got to fix this knowledge and say, hey man, we're all black. First of all, you're just as black as Floyd. You're just as black as Floyd. But you just don't feel that way because you weren't raised to honor those values, to honor those attributes. If you were raised to honor your blackness from a child, from birth, then you'd get along with everyone in the world. If a Japanese man was raised to honor his blackness, he would get along with everyone in the whole world, because he would recognize himself in all those places. He would say, I'm Japanese, I'm black, and I know you're black too, because we all came from black. So we can relate starting there. It's not a foreign world from another planet. It's the same planet, the same people. We just stretched out in different places. And that's what we need to do now, from now on. Because in 1,000 years, this whole planet is going to be black. In 1,000 years, everyone on the planet will be black. Because we're simply going back to the source. And anyone who is fighting against that is fighting against reality. And they're not really fighting against it. They're just taught that no, we all come from different places magically, and that some people have different, they even thought at one time there was different body parts inside. They said, oh, black people have different body parts than white people. And I always will remind you that it was the French who came up with the term race. It was the French. It wasn't an American who came up with that, it was the French. And based on what the French decided was the truth, we developed entire curriculums and the standardized testing system. Standardized testing came from racism. You understand? Because different tests were administered to white students to establish themselves as better. So we're basically going and cleaning up the innards of our history. It's like the intestines of America. We're going in and we're cleaning them. We're taking sawdust, or we're taking flaxseed, or we're taking super colon cleanser, and we're putting it in our bodies, and we're chasing it down with milk and cinnamon and water and mint leaves and flour and bay leaf. All these natural things we're pushing in our intestines, and our intestines are bubbling. And we're getting ready to go use the restroom and clean it all with. So because of George Floyd's passing, it gave basically an enough is enough for every one of these incidents that have ever happened on the earth, where we are mysteriously treating the source of all life wrong and treating the variants of the source right. You see what I'm saying? And we're doing this in broad daylight, as if there's no Lord in the sky, as if nothing will happen. And you see God responding. The Lord said, you know what? This will not go on. You will not mistreat my children and expect life. So the people who did that and took part in that and supported that have less life than the people who were against them. And the best way to solve this problem and any problem is prayer. Praise the Lord.